All right, hey everyone, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling something that could really give you a boost on the AP SSC 2025 mathematics exam.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
We're talking about the official blueprint document.
Yeah.
It's like your secret decoder ring for the test.
Kind of like a cheat sheet, but totally legit.
Totally legit, yeah.
Yeah.
And what's cool is this blueprint doesn't just tell you what topics are on the exam. It actually,
It's more than that.
yeah, it's more than...
It shows you the whole game plan.
It shows you how it's all structured, what kinds of questions they'll throw at you, and get this,
Which ones are worth more?
which ones are worth more.
Yeah.
Some questions are like the VIPs of the exam.
Exactly.
So first things first, let's break down the types of questions you'll face.
Okay.
The blueprint lays out the weightage, basically, how much each question type contributes to your final score.
It's like some questions are worth a point, others are like 3 points.
Right, exactly.
You don't know where to focus your energy.
So you'll see three main categories.
Yeah.
Very short answer,
Quick hitters.
a short answer,
A bit meatier.
and then the big ones,
The heavyweights.
long answer questions.
And those are the ones that can make or break you.
Now, it might seem obvious that longer answers mean more points, but
But there's a reason for that.
yeah, there's got to be a deeper reason why those long answer questions are the MVPs.
Think about it. They're not just testing if you can remember a definition or a formula.
It's more than just spitting out facts,
It's about applying solving problems that require,
like real problem solving.
yeah, like critical thinking.
Okay, so it's about showing that you truly understand the material, not just memorized it.
Exactly. A very short answer question might ask you to define something.
Simple.
A short answer question might ask you to solve a straightforward equation.
Okay.
But a long answer question, that's where they really see what you can do.
They put you to the test,
They'll give you a scenario.
like a real world problem.
You'll have to figure out which concepts apply, which formulas to use, and then work through multiple steps.
Whoa, that sounds intense.
It is, but that's the kind of thinking that gets you ready for higher level math.
So for those long answer questions, you need to not only know the formulas, but really understand the why behind them.
The why, yes, and how they connect to other parts of math.
It's all about connecting the dots.
That's what the exam is really looking for. Can you think like a mathematician? Can you use your knowledge in new and creative ways?
Okay, so the blueprint is giving us valuable intel here.
Take time.
We know we need to really focus on those long answer questions.
Definitely.
How does that actually change how we study, though?
So let's say you've got 2 hours to study.
Okay.
Instead of splitting it evenly between all the question types, maybe you give more time to practicing those long answer questions.
Makes sense.
Work through practice problems, explain the concepts out loud, really get them ingrained.
I like that. Talking it out helps solidify it.
It does. And you don't want to ignore the other question types, but
But you can be smarter about how you practice them.
exactly. Flashcards, quick quizzes, that sort of thing.
This is starting to feel like we're getting a real advantage here.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not just studying harder, we're studying smarter, aligning ourselves with what the exam actually demands.
And that brings us to another gem in the blueprint, the chapter-wise weightage.
Ooh, what's that all about?
This tells you which topics are the real heavy hitters.
Oh, so not all chapters are created equal.
You got it. Some chapters contribute more to your score than others.
Fascinating.
And there's one chapter that's like the king of the hill. It makes up a whopping 24% of the entire exam.
24%. That's a lot riding on one chapter.
It is. But before we spill the beans on which chapter that is,
Okay.
let's think about why some chapters might be more important than others.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Often, those heavily weighted chapters are the foundation for more complex topics.
Like the building blocks.
They might be considered essential for further math studies.
Okay, so they're not just testing you on this exam, they're setting you up for future success in math.
Exactly. And maybe they cover topics that have broader applications in different fields.
Like real-world applications.
Exactly.
So if you focus on those key chapters, you're not just prepping for the exam.
You're building a solid math foundation for your future.
That's a smart way to look at it.
So, ready for the big reveal?
I'm on the edge of my seat. Which chapter holds the key to 24% of my exam score?
The champion, the one and only, is Chapter 5.
Chapter 5. All right, I got to go check out this mysterious Chapter 5.
We're not going to spoil it just yet. You got to discover its secrets yourself.
Fair enough. Got to keep some of the mystery alive, right?
Exactly. We're giving you the tools and the insights. But the real adventure begins when you explore the blueprint on your own.
All right, listeners, time to grab that blueprint and dive into Chapter 5. We'll be back in Part 2 to break down the chapter content and talk about how you can use this knowledge to create a killer study plan. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you've had a chance to peek at the blueprint and solve the mystery of Chapter 5.
Yeah, what do you think?
I gotta admit, I was a little surprised.
It's not always what people expect, is it?
Definitely not what I was expecting.
But when you think about it,
Yeah,
it makes sense.
it does. It totally does.
It's all about the foundation.
All right, well, no more suspense. Let's reveal the big secret.
Okay, drumroll please.
Chapter 5, the one that holds a whopping 24% of your exam score,
The powerhouse.
is algebra.
There it is.
Now, I know some people might be hearing that and thinking, ugh, algebra. Back to the nightmares of solving for X.
Yeah, I get that.
But honestly, it makes total sense why it's so important on this exam.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Algebra is like the language of math.
Ooh, I like that.
It's how you communicate, how you solve problems, how you model real-world situations.
The grammar, the vocabulary.
Exactly. And those skills, they're crucial for anything STEM-related.
Not just this one exam.
You're learning how to think mathematically, which will help you in so many areas.
So it's really an investment for the future.
Absolutely. And speaking of real-world connections, the blueprint also highlights something else.
Oh, what's that?
Chapters 3 and 4, geometry and mensuration.
Okay, those two always felt a bit more tangible to me.
Right. You can actually visualize the shapes.
Yeah, like you can actually measure things.
And that's the beauty of it.
So how much do they weigh in on the exam?
Together, they make up about 22%.
Okay, so another big
In
chunk.
geometry, that's all about shapes and how they relate to each other.
Spatial reasoning, understanding the properties of different shapes, that kind of thing.
And then mensuration takes it a step further.
It's all about measuring those shapes, calculating areas, volumes.
So like how much paint you need to cover a wall.
Exactly. Or how much water a container can hold.
Real-world applications.
And the fact that they carry so much weight tells us something important about the exam.
What's that?
They're not just testing if you know the theories.
They want to see if you can apply them. Exactly. They want to see if you can take those abstract concepts and use them to solve practical problems.
Makes sense.
Now, while those 3 chapters are the heavy hitters,
The big three.
there are a few other chapters worth mentioning.
Okay, which ones?
Chapters 1 and 2, number systems and sets, relations, and functions.
Those sound pretty foundational.
They might not have the same individual weightage as the others,
Okay.
but they lay the groundwork.
The foundation.
Exactly. You need a good grasp of those concepts to really excel in the other chapters.
It's like you can't build a house without a solid foundation.
Exactly.
So what about the last 2 chapters?
Chapters 6 and 7, trigonometry and statistics.
Those always felt a bit more specialized.
Yeah, they do, but they introduce you to fields of math that have a wide range of applications.
But you get different careers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Engineering, physics, social sciences, even business.
So even if they're not the main focus on the exam,
They're still important.
it's good to get a taste of the bigger picture.
They show you how math connects to the real world in so many ways.
I like that.
So now we've got a good understanding of which chapters are the most important.
We've got the blueprint.
The question is, how do we use this to create a winning study plan?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question.
Now that you know the weightage,
Uh-huh.
you can allocate your study time accordingly.
So don't just start at page 1 of the textbook and go straight through.
No.
Prioritize those chapters.
Exactly. Spend more time on the heavy hitters.
So like 30% of my study time on chapter 5.
Sounds about right.
Then maybe 20% on chapters 3 and 4 together.
And then distribute the rest based on their weightage.
It's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like that.
Okay, so we've got the chapter strategy down.
Yeah.
But what about the different question types?
Ah, yes, we can't forget about those.
How do we prepare for those specifically?
Well, remember, those long answer questions,
Yeah.
they require a deeper understanding.
More than just remembering the formulas.
So when you're studying those heavyweight chapters,
Uh-huh.
don't just focus on memorizing.
Okay.
Practice those higher level thinking skills.
So, for example, if I'm studying chapter 5, algebra,
Yeah.
I shouldn't just be solving a bunch of equations.
It's not enough.
I need to understand the concepts behind them.
Exactly. How they connect to other concepts, how you can apply them to solve more complex problems.
So it's more about understanding the why, not just the how.
Exactly. Challenge yourself. Go beyond just plugging in numbers.
That sounds like a good way to make sure I'm really learning the material.
And that deep understanding will be crucial for those long answer questions.
Okay, makes sense.
And don't forget about those other question types.
Right.
Even though they might not be worth as many points individually,
Still got to be prepared.
so make sure you're practicing those as well.
So maybe some time for practice problems, specifically for very short answer and short answer questions.
Exactly. Maybe some flashcards, some quick quizzes, that sort of thing.
This is really starting to feel less overwhelming.
See? We're getting there.
It's like we've got a map and a compass.
We're navigating our way through.
This has been so helpful.
Glad to hear it.
I'm starting to feel a lot more confident about this exam.
That's the goal.
Remember, everyone, this blueprint, it's a tool.
It's a guide.
But your hard work and dedication, that's what will really make the difference.
You got this.
All right, listeners, we've covered a lot, but there's still more to come.
Oh, yeah?
In part 3, we'll dive into some time management tips.
Wonderful.
And we'll share some resources that can help you along the way.
Can't wait.
So grab your blueprint, grab your notes, and get ready for the final part of our deep dive. Welcome back to our deep dive. We've decoded the blueprint, uncovered the secrets of the chapters, but there's one more piece of the puzzle.
The final boss.
Time management.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, it's crucial during the exam itself,
Under pressure.
but also when you're studying.
Knowing how to use your time wisely, both when you're prepping and when you're actually taking the test.
Because it's not just about knowing the material.
Yep.
It's about being able to access it quickly and efficiently when it matters most.
Especially on exam day.
I remember when I was taking standardized tests,
Oh, we feel ya.
I'd get so stuck on one question,
And then panic sets in.
and then, oh man, I'd run out of time for the rest.
The blueprint can actually help with that.
Really?
Remember how we talked about chapter weightage?
Yeah.
Use that to plan your time during the exam.
Okay, so like, if I'm struggling with a question from a chapter that's not worth as many points,
Maybe skip it, come back to it later.
don't waste precious time.
Exactly. Focus on those heavy hitters, the chapters that'll give you the most bang for your buck.
Maximize those points.
Smart strategy.
Okay, so during the exam, keep an eye on the clock, prioritize those high-value questions.
Got it.
But what about when I'm studying? Any time management tips for that?
One thing that really helps is simulating exam conditions.
Oh, interesting.
Set a timer, work through a set of practice questions.
Like a mock exam.
Exactly. Get used to that pressure.
Okay, so I can see where I need to speed up.
And don't just focus on getting the answers right.
Okay.
Pay attention to how long each question takes you.
See where I get bogged down.
Exactly. Identify your weak spots.
So it's not just about the content, it's about my timing as well.
You got it. The more you practice under exam conditions, the more confident you'll become.
And less stress on exam day.
Absolutely. A calm mind is a powerful tool.
Makes sense.
Another thing that helps is breaking down your study schedule.
Okay.
Manageable chunks. Don't cram everything at the last minute.
No all-nighters.
Definitely not. Create a realistic schedule, spread it out over weeks or even months.
Consistency is key.
Little by little, every day, it adds up.
And make sure to schedule in breaks.
Self-care is crucial.
Can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly. You got to take care of yourself.
Okay, so consistent studying, manageable chunks, and breaks.
Sounds like a plan.
And if I need extra help,
There are tons of resources out there. Past exam papers, those are gold.
oh yeah, those are great.
You see the patterns, the style of questions.
Get a feel for the exam itself.
And don't be afraid to ask for help.
Teacher, online forums, study groups.
2 heads are better than 1.
Sometimes just talking it through helps.
For sure. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Pace yourself.
There will be tough moments, but don't give up.
You got this.
Believe in yourself.
Okay, so focus on those key chapters. Practice under exam conditions, break down study time, take breaks, use resources, and ask for help.
You've got the roadmap.
This has been amazing. I feel like I've got a whole new perspective on this exam.
The blueprint is a powerful tool.
Use it wisely.
But remember, your hard work is what will ultimately make the difference.
So true. All right, everyone, that's it for our deep dive into the AP SSC Math Exam Blueprint.
We've reached the summit.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your journey.
The world of math is vast and fascinating.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and good luck on your exam.
We're cheering you on.